Imagine walking into school on a regular Wednesday morning, expecting nothing more than classes, friends, and maybe a test or two, only to find yourself in the middle of a violent altercation that changes everything. That is exactly what happened at Carrick High School in Pittsburgh, where what began as just another school day suddenly turned into a scene of chaos and fear. Students, teachers, and parents were left shaken as police swarmed the building after a stabbing incident that left 3 young students injured, one of them critically. According to Pittsburgh public safety officials, the violence erupted around 8:30 in the morning, just after the school day had begun. Witnesses say the hallway quickly turned into a scene filled with panic. Some students screamed and ran for cover, while others froze, not fully comprehending what had just happened. At least 3 male students, ranging in age from 15 to 18, were stabbed during the incident. The suddenness of it all stunned everyone present. Police were called immediately, and officers rushed into the school as medics worked to treat the injured students. 2 of the victims suffered stab wounds to their abdomens, and officials say their injuries were serious enough to require immediate transportation by EMS to nearby hospitals. A 3rd victim, meanwhile, sustained what authorities described as a minor laceration. He was treated right there at the scene and released, shaken but physically stable. The suspect in this case, another student at the school, was quickly taken into custody for questioning. Authorities say he is a 16-year-old male who arrived late to school that day. Carrick, the spokesperson for Pittsburgh Public Safety, explained that the stabbing stemmed from an altercation in the hallway. She emphasized that this was not a random attack on multiple students but instead appeared to be a conflict that escalated into violence. It stemmed from an altercation in the hallway, Cruz told reporters. I don't know exactly how it started. It wasn't a random, someone stabbing people in the hallway. As the investigation unfolded, the building was placed on lockdown. Police officers could be seen entering and exiting Carrick High School, some of them escorting students, others reviewing footage from the school's surveillance system. Teachers did their best to keep their classes calm, though the tension inside the building was impossible to ignore. Parents began calling and texting their children, desperate to know if they were safe. Outside the building, police vehicles lined the street as sirens blared in the distance, creating an atmosphere of crisis. Questions quickly began to arise. How did the suspect manage to bring a knife into the building? Were there no security checks in place? Pittsburgh Public Schools officials were pressed to respond. Dina Young, the chief of safety for the school district, addressed the issue later in the day. She explained that metal detectors are, in fact, present at Carrick High School. According to Young, the majority of students pass through metal detectors at the front entrance and another location below. However, the suspect in question had arrived late to school. Because of that, he entered through the cafeteria, which is the designated entrance for late arrivals. Young emphasized that even though students are screened through the detectors, there are metal detectors up here at the front entrance and down below, she said. The majority of the kids coming up here, but the late students do enter through the cafeteria, and he was late, so he did enter through the cafeteria. All kids are screened through the metal detectors as they come in. Investigators are now working to determine exactly how the knife made it into the building. Detectives from the City Police Bureau's Major Crimes Division are interviewing witnesses and students who may have seen or heard the altercation before it turned violent. They are also reviewing video footage from the school's cameras, trying to piece together the sequence of events and clarify how security procedures may have failed. Meanwhile, the young suspect was taken to Pittsburgh Police Headquarters for questioning. Reports confirmed that he also sustained a laceration to his hand, likely during the altercation. He was treated at the scene by medics before being transported downtown to headquarters. Police are carefully piecing together his role, his motivations, and how exactly the situation escalated to the point of multiple stabbings. The school day, shockingly, continued despite the chaos. Officials confirmed that classes remained in session even as the building stayed under lockdown with police still on site. For many students, trying to return to normal lessons after witnessing or hearing about a stabbing among their peers must have been nearly impossible. One student described the feeling of unease in the hallways, saying that every sound and movement suddenly seemed louder, sharper, and more threatening. Teachers tried to reassure their students, reminding them to stay calm, But the nervous glances and whispered conversations told the real story of how shaken the student body truly was. Back outside, local reporters gathered to cover the incident. News cameras captured footage of ambulances pulling away from the school, sirens flashing, as worried family members began to arrive near the campus. The sight of parents rushing to the scene reflected the deep concern that any parent would feel after hearing that their child's school had become the location of a stabbing. Many stood in small groups, talking to officers, trying to gather any details they could about the safety of their children. Authorities also made an appeal to the public. Carrick encouraged anyone who might have video of the incident, perhaps captured on their phone during the moments of panic, to submit it to the police. If anyone else has video of this incident, they are encouraged to send it to police or call police headquarters, she said. Investigators believe that additional video could help them determine exactly how the altercation began and how the suspect managed to produce a knife inside what should have been a secured environment. The larger question remains: how could something like this happen inside a school where security measures such as metal detectors were already in place? Was the weapon concealed in a way that slipped past screening, or was there a flaw in the process that allowed the knife through? These are the questions that parents, students, and officials are demanding answers to. Until then, the focus remains on the recovery of the injured students and the ongoing investigation into the suspect's actions and motivations. As of the latest update, officials confirmed once more that 2 students remained hospitalized with serious stab wounds to their abdomens. Their conditions were not disclosed in detail, but one was said to be critical. The third victim, who had only a minor laceration, was fortunate enough to return home. The suspect, meanwhile, continues to be questioned, and the possibility of charges looms depending on the findings of the police investigation. The incident at Carrick High School is yet another reminder of how quickly violence can erupt in places that are supposed to be safe for young people. Students should not have to fear for their safety while walking the halls of their school. For the Carrick community, this event will not soon be forgotten. In the coming days, there will likely be renewed calls for stronger safety measures, more effective screening procedures, and perhaps additional resources dedicated to preventing weapons from entering schools. Parents will no doubt demand answers, while students will grapple with the memory of what happened in their hallways on what was supposed to be just another normal morning. For now, the focus remains on healing, both for the victims who are recovering from their injuries and for the wider school community that has been emotionally scarred by the incident. The sounds of sirens, the sight of classmates bleeding, the tension of a lockdown, these are experiences that no student should ever have to endure. Yet for Carrick High School, these memories are now part of their reality. And as police continue their work, one thing is certain: this was not just another day of classes. This was a day that changed everything.